Hi everyone, my name is Miss Kristen and I work for the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. I wanted to give you a really quick tutorial on how to use Paint 3D, which is an application that comes on your Surface Pro and you can use it to make digital art.
Okay friends, when you open up Paint 3D, you can hit New and that will start a new project for you. And then you can see all of your tools that you have over here to the side. So the first thing that I'm going to use is a marker. And I'm just going to start by drawing kind of a little landscape today. So here's my marker. Here's how thick it is. That's how wide your line is. So I'm going to make it a little bit wider and then draw a horizon line. Now you can see that's a pretty thick line. If I wanted it to be skinnier, I could just come here and you see that changes how thick the line is. If I want to color everything at once, I can use this little paint bucket here and I can fill in different areas. So I might, since I'm doing a landscape, want to do some different greens. So I'll go back to the marker and choose some different greens and then go back to the paint bucket and kind of fill it in so that it almost looks like there's a layered look. Okay. Now, one of my favorite tools to use is this wide paintbrush here because it has a lot of texture to it. So if I wanted to do like a sunset, I can draw a little half circle here on the horizon line and you can see it looks like an actual paintbrush with lots of texture to it. So I can fill in my sunset here. And then just like before, I might want to go back and kind of like clean up that edge with my marker. So I'll choose the same color that I had earlier and then I can come back and clean up that edge just like that. Okay, there's also a crayon which has a lot of texture, so you might choose the little crayon and it makes it look kind of like you're coloring with the side of your crayon. So if I want to make that thicker, I will just slide the bar there and then I can make it thicker while I'm coloring in the sky. Opacity, that just means how see-through something is. So you can see it's at 100% so that I can see it really nice and clearly, but if I were to slide that down, you can barely see it. It looks a little bit more see-through, right? So that's just something to keep in mind too. If I were drawing something like clouds, I might want them to be a little bit more see-through. Okay. The spray paint is also something that's pretty soft and see-through, so I might want to layer that on top of my sky. That's kind of what the spray paint does. It's a little bit more subtle. You can't see it quite as well, but it's nice when you're adding a second layer or a second color onto something. Okay, and then if I wanted to add clouds, then I might use this small paintbrush. I might make it a little bit more see-through. And then I can paint my clouds and you can see that's pretty see-through. You can just kind of barely see the clouds, but if I want to see them more, I can change the opacity, make it a little less see-through, and then paint some clouds on. So another tool you can use is the calligraphy pen right here. The calligraphy pen, the thickness changes on how fast or slow you move your finger or your stylus. So I'm going to draw a river with it and I'm going to choose this kind of blue color. When I start down here at the bottom of my screen, I'm going to go slow. You can see it's a pretty thick line, but if I speed up, the thickness of the line changes and it gets a little bit skinnier. So I'll do that again, kind of slow here at the bottom and then go a little faster to change the thickness of the line. So now I can go back and I can kind of play with thin and thick lines to give the river some texture. So I'm going to use the marker now to kind of color in that river. And then I'll go back and add some more texture to it. Okay, I'll use the calligraphy pen now to add some different colors. So you've got your plain colors down here in the bottom, but if you want more colors, you can hit the little plus sign and then you can make it a little bit lighter or darker as you need to, and then get some custom colors. I'm going to use my calligraphy pen to get some wide lines and then some skinny lines here in the back for that river. Might even add some other colors in there too. maybe a lighter blue. Okay. And if you don't like what you've done, you can always just hit the undo button and take away some of the things that you've created. Or you can even hit the eraser, and that's going to take it back white. So if you don't like the color you used, or you want to totally undo something, you can use that eraser. So I'm going to add a tree. I'm going to use the marker. I'm going to make it a pretty thin line so that I can get some details like roots in the tree. And then if I want to go back and add even more texture on my tree, I might use something like this pixel pen. That's a really skinny line, and I can go back on top and add lots of teeny tiny details to my tree, like bark if I want to. And the pencil does something similar, but it just has more of a texture. It's an even skinnier line, as you can see, and it's not quite as dark, so your texture would be a little bit more subtle. If I want to add some leaves to my tree, I might come back with this paintbrush and paint like a fall tree. And the cool thing about this is that it just layers right on top of what you've already done. And you can layer up all different kinds of textures and colors to your art. So now I'm going to come back in with my marker and a really skinny line, and I'm going to put those branches kind of back in front. So I think I'm going to use a pencil to just add a little bit more texture, and I'm going to like add some maybe little reeds here next to my river. You can see that's a little bit more subtle. You can see through it a little bit. So this program is really just about like experimenting with all the different tools and seeing what they can do. And a good place to start is just by using the marker, because that just kind of makes a line how you want it. And then as you get more comfortable drawing on the tablet, you can start experimenting with all these different tools that they have, and how see-through to make it, how thick to make your line, and changing the colors too. And so that's kind of the basics to Paint 3D. When I'm finished and I'm happy with something, then I can go to save it, and you do that by going to Menu, Save As. I like to save mine as an image, and if you were uploading this so that your art teacher could see it, you might do that too. I'm going to just call it landscape. And then I like to change it from a PNG to a JPEG. That just also helps everybody be able to open it, because almost everybody can open a JPEG. So that is the file that I save it as. So landscape to JPEG, and then I hit save, and that's it. Now I have this artwork that I can open back up and show off, or I can work on it later. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys get to create something fun.